Okay, so we're locked into Minnesota right now as President Trump refuses to allow the antics of the Democrat Party and anti-ICE protesters to dictate what happens. Right now, more than 2,000 federal agents are already on the ground in Minneapolis, and hundreds of more officers are being sent in addition to that force. Meanwhile, as this unfolds in real time, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz has allowed lawlessness and disorder to take hold, as Democratic officials continue to spin the story to fit their narrative instead of focusing on restoring order and enforcing the law. As always, make sure you smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel for more, and share this video. That way more people see what's really going on.
Arriving to the crime scene investigation where Renee Good was shot. This was moments ago. We believe we saw Governor Walz's wife with him as well, with her arm wrapped around a gentleman at one point. So Governor Tim Walz and his wife making an official visit to the shooting location of Renee Good here in Minneapolis. Harris, back to you.
Okay, so we're continuing our coverage of what's been happening in Minnesota following the shooting of an ICE agitator who thought it would be a good idea to follow ICE around, block traffic, disobey lawful commands, and try to run a federal agent over with their vehicle. And the governor, Tim Walz, rather than calling for law and order, has basically surrendered power over to the liberal protesters who don't want ICE in their city. No, they're fine with criminals and illegal aliens, some of whom have raped, murdered, and messed around with little kids, trafficked women, things like that. They're okay with that. That's not the problem. ICE is.
DHS sources tell Fox up to 1,000 additional agents will surge the Minneapolis area. That's on top of the already 2,000 agents that are here. But the Democratic Mayor Jacob Frey says these agents are going to be met with resistance.
We have thousands and hundreds of thousands of people that are standing up for their neighbors right now. We have people that are not taking the bait of this Trump administration because they all know, we know, they're looking for any excuse to come in with greater force and occupy our city. We're grinning down this bear. We are doing right by our city and the people in it, and we're not backing down.
It's hard to take anything Minnesota leadership says seriously, whether it's Tim Walz or the Minneapolis mayor, because as you just heard, if they truly cared about law and order, they would not be allowing protesters to take over the city and continue to obstruct and impede ICE agents from doing their jobs. Remember, these are law enforcement officers simply enforcing the law. Yet, Democrats allow people who don't like it to basically insert themselves whenever they feel like it, disrupting operations and undermining enforcement.
All right, let's bring in the White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, joining us now live from the White House. Caroline, welcome to you. Welcome back.
Thank you, guys. Great to be with you.
All right, so let's start there. Can we protect these ICE officers lawfully carrying out their duties?
Well, the administration fully intends to. President Trump and the entire Trump administration stands firmly with the brave men and women of ICE, who are everyday Americans who put on their uniform every day to protect our communities and to carry out lawful law enforcement operations. That's what's been happening on the ground in Minnesota, and that's what's been taking place in every community across the country. And I just want to zoom out, and you see these agitators who have been violently protesting and harassing ICE agents all weekend long. What are they out there protesting for? They are actively trying to impede law enforcement operations and end the President Trump's mandate to deport illegal alien criminals from our communities. And it's Fox News' very own Bill Malugin, who had exceptional reporting in the last few days. These are illegal alien criminal pedophiles, murderers, rapists, some of the worst criminals who, if given the chance, would commit those same heinous crimes to the protesters in the streets of Minneapolis right now.
And these people protesting and obstructing ICE operations don't even know who they're defending. They couldn't know because they don't have access to information in the same way law enforcement does, which operates on leads, intel, data that helps them do their job. But these ICE agitators think that agents are just out arresting innocent brown people and tearing them away from their families, as if criminals can't have families too, right? But what we have seen is that it doesn't matter whether the people ICE is arresting are criminals harming others. All that matters to them is that they don't agree with the administration. And so they want to create chaos. And because Democratic leadership has demonized the president and federal agents enforcing the law, it has led to people who don't like what they are doing to now use their vehicles as weapons to obstruct federal agents far too often now. Take a listen.
Talk also about what's happening to our law enforcement. Just last week alone, we saw 10 vehicle rammings. That's the weaponization of a vehicle, a deadly weapon against our law enforcement. We're seeing that's becoming a more and more common tactic that is being used against our law enforcement. They're facing a 1,000% increase in assaults against them. If you see a federal law enforcement officer or any law enforcement officer today, say thank you.
Why aren't representatives condemning the behavior of these protesters? I mean, they've gone far beyond peaceful protests. We can't call it that anymore. They're preventing ICE agents from leaving their vehicles. They're blocking traffic, vandalizing vehicles, attacking ICE officers, and impeding their operations. I mean, at some point, don't you think if you actually want your communities to be safe, you would be condemning this very behavior? What they have allowed is for these protesters who are activated by politicians to get upset and do stupid, irresponsible things that not only put officer safety at risk, but also the safety of citizens in Minnesota. And leadership allows it. And now they're building barriers, get this, to keep ICE agents out of their neighborhood.
So it looks like people are just hanging out, just burning shit, and then just it looks like a lot of different people out here today, man. A lot of different people out here, you feel me? But the weirdest thing out here is just
This is hypocrisy at its finest. These liberal protesters who are mad at Trump for closing the border and enforcing immigration law are now building barriers to keep people they don't want in their neighborhoods out, which is ICE. This entire thing is rooted in nothing but emotion and the fact that they don't have power. They feel powerless about what is happening, and so they want to assert some level of strength. And in that process, they've only shown that they do agree with borders. They do agree with keeping people out who they don't want, but only if they say it's okay. Forget what the law says, because to them, this isn't about what's legal. It's about what they feel is right. They somehow see themselves as the moral authority on this matter. And what we've seen is that they become the authority for the mentally brainwashed. And this is Ilhan Omar. Listen to what she has had to say on this entire matter. Take a listen.
But do you see from the recordings that we see, is there anything that you believe was being done that should not have been done by Macklin Good? The administration says she was blocking the road. They are claiming this is an act of terrorism.
Yeah, Renee Nicole Good, as you hear her say, she's not mad. She's sitting in her car, peacefully waving cars to get by. This agent, as you see, gets out of his car, automatically starts running towards her, trying to open her door. She feels scared. She tries to turn the wheel away. And then you see the other officer, who can clearly see the car is moving, move towards the front of the car, which, if they are saying that he has 10 years on service and is trained, he should know that you shouldn't be trying to get in front of a moving car. And so
this is the spin we continue to hear from the Democratic Party. They keep trying to find ways to make excuses for what happened, no matter how ignorant it sounds. Ilhan Omar wants you to believe the officer was just standing recklessly in front of the vehicle and that his training should have taught him not to do that. Forget the fact that he was circling the vehicle and capturing it on camera from all sides when the driver decided to disobey lawful commands and hit him with her vehicle. But what's even more of a shame is that they're willing to criticize the comments from the president, the vice president, and Kristi Noem, yet they won't criticize the comments from the mayor, Jacob Fry, and the governor, Tim Walz.
So it is not acceptable for Kristi Noem and the president and the vice president to make these kind of judgments without there being a full investigation, even though we can see in the videos that have been produced so far that what they are describing is really not what is taking place. And so if they're saying that we shouldn't believe our eyes, then let the investigation take place before you characterize this mother of three as a domestic terrorist.
What we're seeing happening in this country is people choosing to insert themselves into federal law enforcement operations simply based on the fact that they don't like what's happening. And in doing so, they're endangering the lives of the officers, themselves, and everyone around them. And because this is a sanctuary state that does not work with ICE, and because you have leadership in that state demonizing ICE, it has effectively given a green light to the people who don't agree with what the administration is doing to act however they want in these states, and that is a problem. Here's Tom Homan. Take a listen.
Sanctuary states, a sanctuary city. They don't work with us. And that's one of the problems here. And it's one of the reasons we're in the position we're in that city, because law enforcement response has been sporadic at best. This is sanctuary city. Let's remember, why are we in that city right now? Because we're a sanctuary city that purposely releases public safety threats back into the public. I just mentioned about all these cases that child sex crime, child sodomy, child rape, that they release back into the community. These are people we have to go look for. And who set the stage for all this? The last 4 years of an open border, millions of people released in this country without vetting, a lot of criminals, a lot of national security threats. That's why we're there. Let's not forget who set the stage on this. So all these people on the Democratic side and all these liberal people want to scream and yell about our law enforcement activities. They didn't say a word when there's an open border. They didn't say a word when 500,000 children were smuggled in this country, lost track of 300,000, and they weren't even looking for them. President Trump and this administration found 129,000 of them. They were silent then. They were complicit on millions of people being released in this country, many of them criminals. Didn't say a word. Now all of a sudden, because we're trying to fix 4 years of an open border, now they're all of a sudden they got an opinion.
Exactly. And so now what you end up with are people who support the Democrat Party and support criminals being able to be free in this country just because they're illegal. Basically, they don't care. For example, check this clip out of an observer watching an illegal alien get arrested, and she doesn't care that he has an extensive rap sheet. Take a listen.
That's why your face is covered. Exactly why.
You guys get me for this week? Huh? You guys got me for this week? No. A little more than that, bro.
You got a pretty extensive criminal record.
Huh?
You got a pretty extensive criminal record.
I don't, bro.
They saying he got a criminal record, but have no warrant in hand. That's wild. No warrant in hand. No warrant in hand. I don't care about you blocking me, ma'am. Bye. Have a great day.
Yeah. And so what we're going to continue to see are people who, because they don't understand the law and how things work in this country, they're going to get triggered. They're going to get triggered when they see something they don't like, something they don't agree with. And that can lead some of them to do something very reckless. But the Trump administration is not slowing down just because people who don't understand how the law works in this country are upset. But those are my thoughts. Now I want to hear from you. Drop your comments down below. Don't forget, smash that thumbs up button. Let me know you love the video. Subscribe to the channel for more and share this video. That way more people see what's really going on. Until next time.